Hi, sweethearts. So I am trying something slightly different here. I have laid out the cards, not so much intentionally as it just ended up being like this. But I am not using my mic right now because I just wanted to test if I could maybe also do quicker recordings with my phone. Not that it was very quick this first time, but still, in theory. So, what we have right here now is there are love cards there, right? These are from my love deck, but I'm not feeling that this has to be a love reading. This might be a love reading for some, but I'm also feeling this could simply be about something that's important for you, like a passion project or something like that. Also, please excuse my voice. I've gotten a cold again. Yeah, I know I should probably dress up slightly better. Also, hi, look at this cute little thing. Isn't this adorable? Huh? My sister-in-law printed it. It's absolutely adorable. So, okay. I thought this could join us today. I love the coloring. Anyways, so my throat again. I'll have to drink a little bit in between. So just give me a sec now. Okay. What this reading started with was me pulling this one, actually, for my own general guidance. I got Athena, and then I got Goddess of the Mind, and then I went straight into the tiny booklet. Sorry, one of the booklets fell to the ground. Anyways, then I went straight into the tiny booklet that followed along with this one, which is from the deck of the Women of Myth Oracle deck. And I'll see here if I can't find it. Athena, where you at? Working with the deck. Yeah, nice. Okay. Oh, isn't this gorgeous? God damn. Anywho. Here we have it. Goddess of the Mind. And also, because of that keyword, the mind, and since it is Athena, I of course started thinking about the song Warrior, I think it is, Warrior of the Mind, or something like that. It's from the musical epic, you know, about Odysseus? No. Odysseus and Poseidon and Penelope. Yeah, no, it's Odysseus and all of his 600 men. But yeah, so her song, when she kind of meets Odysseus, which is, I think, a warrior of the mind, really came to, well, my mind with this one. So there might be a meaning in the lyrics of that one, like check it out or something like that, if you feel called to it. But anyways, about Athena. Athena is an ancient Greek goddess of wisdom, war, and strategy. Athena was greatly respected for her wise counsel she gave to the gods and heroes alike. Card meaning: a strategy is formed or required. Scattered thinking leads to ambiguous results. You need to trust yourself instead of soliciting too many opinions. Soliciting. I might not have pronounced that correctly. Anywho, soliciting too many opinions. Clarity is coming. You know, she also has the owl and whatnot here. Her advice. Sorry, my voice. Her advice. Athena asks you to be decisive and strategic, make a plan of action and stick to it. You do not have to wait for anyone else's permission to live your life. Trust yourself. You are the master of your own domain. Yeah, so that's what it started with. I was just, you know, pulling out a general card, and it was actually for me. So guys, I am part of this collective. And then I was just like shuffling and I was like, okay, is there a card? Like, do you have anything that you'd like to add? And then Medusa came out, you know, a monster card. But the keyword here is the outcast. And I have just posted in the Discord of Celestial Veil that I was called to do a collective reading on the Hunchback of Notre Dame song, God Save the Outcasts. And here came the outcast. And that's when I realized, okay, this is the collective reading. But I did end up pulling cards anyways, and just like making it ready for me to film it for you guys. So first we have Athena, and then suddenly we got Medusa. I'm gonna read it first, and I'm also just going to read from this one quite quickly because they also have Medusa, but only Medusa, not Athena. And there is a reason for this, okay? But just like, lend me your air and lend me your time, and I shall lend you the knowledge to do, well, whatever it is that aligns you with your highest vibrational timeline. Because that's what this reading really is about. Where is she? Come on, Medusa. I know you're supposed to be here. I think I'm like just jumping past her every time. There we have her. Nope. Just give me a tiny sec. Here we have it. Yeah, Medusa. Okay, so monster, the outcast, misunderstood, persecuted, victim blaming. Her story: Medusa is a beautiful maiden in Greek mythology. Rejects the advances of Poseidon, who, I'm not sure we are allowed to say that, but who gets a no and decides that no does not always mean no, basically. Medusa is then turned into a fearsome monster with snakes for hair, so hideous that anyone who looks upon her instantly turns to stone. The card's meaning: you're feeling like you're the victim of gossip, injustice, or an unwarranted public or private attack. Perhaps your actions, intentions, or personality have been misunderstood or misinterpreted. Her advice: Medusa calls on you to remember that much of what others say or do to you is a projection, not a reflection of who you are. So, projection isn't a reflection. Remember the power of telling your story. If it feels safe, she asks you to share your truth when you're ready, and when you're ready to, and however you feel able to. But, guys, it doesn't stop there. So we also have this one, Medusa, injustice. You know, it's working on the same theme, but it does add flavor to it. So, Medusa, you must fight against injustice. To say nothing in the face of inequality or injustice only increases the imbalance. You have the right to defend yourself. Truth, and I'm thinking about that movie now. What is it? 21 Jump Street? You have the right to become a lawyer. Non-disputable. Okay, let's see here. Injustice only increases the imbalance. You have the right to defend yourself. Truth isn't always easy or evident. Look deeper. Sometimes the mirror lies. A half-truth is still a lie. Duality. Defense, attack. Justice, injustice. I'm going to read this because this is important, okay? Many people only know the half story. Okay. The half story of the woman with the serpents for hair. They know the hero, Perseus, has come to slay her as part of his quest. They know the goddess of wisdom, Athena, is aiding him by providing a mirrored shield that assists him in avoiding Medusa's cursed stare. For to gaze at her directly means certain death with a body turned to stone. People see the monster, Medusa, this horrendous, horrible creature, her hair hissing with spite, and see too the brave and sturdy hero come to end her. And they assume that yes, he is righteous. Yet, that is but half the story. According to the ancient poet Ovid, Medusa starts as a very mortal and human woman. As she grows up, she grows ever more beautiful. Her hair is of rich color, long and lustrous, her skin flawless, her voice sweet. Like the ill-fated Helen, men fall at her feet. All men wish to marry her, and every man who sees her wishes to possess her, which is also part of the song. Give me, what is it? I ask for love. Wait, give me a sec. I'm going to use my computer, okay? Guys, I just need to find this. This is important. God save the outcasts and lyrics. Let's see here. That was a bad one. Let's see here. I found one, but it didn't have that part. Then it doesn't. Yes, there we have it. Okay, guys. So, no, I don't want to do this. Oh my god. Oh, do I have to? Oh, I'm one of those annoying people. I will literally go through everything if they're like, can we put some cookies on your thing? And I'm like, usually I don't care, but at the same time, I do. And so I am petty enough to go through all of those, the list thing, and then some of them are automatically turned off, but some of them are automatically turned on, and I'm like, nope. And then, yeah. But this time, I couldn't. That was annoying. Anywho, so this is the text that it reminded me of. I ask for love I can possess. Actually, wait, I'll read all of that one. I ask for wealth. I ask for fame. I ask for glory to shine on my name. I ask for love I can possess. I ask for God and his angels to bless me. Which isn't bad or anything, but then you have Esmeralda, who is kind of like completely opposite energy and being all like, you know what, I don't need anything. Yeah, I ask for nothing and I do actually get by quite well, but there are so many other people that cannot, so please go and, I don't know, bless them instead. I'm not going to read all of the lyrics, I'm sorry guys, just check it out. But yeah, like, every man who sees her wishes to possess her. Sadly, gods too. The sea god Poseidon discovers the beautiful Medusa as she walks one day to the temple of Athena. So Poseidon notices Medusa as she walks to the temple of Athena. There are not just Greek gods here in this deck. There are so many different things. Monsters and like mythological female creatures. But then Athena comes out first and then Medusa. My guys, there's a connection here. Okay, because there literally is. But so, blah blah, yeah. So she walks one day to the temple of Athena. The god doesn't wish to marry her, but he wants her. And instead lays with her. You know, in a no doesn't necessarily mean no kind of way. Inside the sanctuary, Athena sees them defiling her temple, and while she has never had a good relationship with Poseidon, she becomes totally enraged that he would disrespect her so greatly. Here we have to examine the actions of Athena. Does she presume that Does she presume that the intimate act she has witnessed is not a non-consensual act, but something both were participating in? Does she know it was non-consensual, yet is so angry to see this in her sacred sanctuary, and that both parties suffer anyway? Whatever the answer, Medusa is cursed by Athena. She is cursed by the goddess that she was worshipping and seeking protection from. And like, this is not just walking into the temples and like, well, it might be, but in some of the stories at least, she is also actually a priestess of Athena's temple. But in the house of the goddess that she seeks protection from, she is taken severely advantage of. And then the god, again, that she was seeking protection from, punishes her for this non-consensual act. Whatever the answer, Medusa is cursed by Athena. Athena curses her beauty and attractiveness to others. Medusa's beautiful hair becomes a seething halo of deadly, hissing snakes, and those who gaze upon her, she involuntarily turns to stone. Imagine being non-consensually intimately acted with, and also never being able to look into another human's face again to find compassionate connection without killing the gazer. Effectively, what Athena did here is she transferred over to Medusa shame. She cursed her with it. She cursed her with shame. And she was the witness. And the witness cursed even the protector. The protector and the witness. But when she saw it, when she witnessed the act, she decided to victim blame to such a degree that the victim ends up paying all of the price. I don't know what Poseidon went through, but he isn't mortal, as Medusa was, because she didn't get to stay that way. Okay, this is important, guys. This is important for the right collective here, okay? So, Medusa becomes a solitary monster, fed by all, and of course now, a target for heroes to conquer. Let me just underline, she was already a conquest. Medusa, in this story, has already been nothing but a conquest for the men around her. And so she remained. Just now they want, quite literally, her head. So, when Perseus comes to fight her, he sees a forest of what he thinks are statues, but who are people whom Medusa has petrified. Seeing this landscape, he becomes afraid and asks for Athena's advice. The sword of Perseus eventually beheads Medusa. And he is able to do this through Athena's reflective shield, by using the mirrored shield to indirectly view Medusa. He is able to avoid her petrifying gaze and win the battle against her. Let me underline. Athena, the witness, the protector, witnessed and decided to victim blame and cast shame upon Medusa, like intense shame upon Medusa, to the degree where she becomes this outcast. And she can never again connect with another living person. They will turn to stone. And then, after having lived like this, after having suffered this curse for so long, Athena hands over to Perseus the tools to then completely rid the world of Medusa. And she goes down not as a person who has been wrongly accused, wrongly judged, wrongly sentenced, who has been carrying the shame of others, not just mistakes, but extremely serious transgressions. And then she does not even get to exist anymore without ever. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm falling into this picture. But no, she goes down into like the history then, like of course it's with Perseus and stuff like that, it's like hero history, but she goes down in hero history as the monster. In all of that, all of what has happened, she goes down and is beheaded as a monster. Well, the person who has made her into this, the witness, the person who should be Medusa's savior, hands the tools to completely rid the world of her. This story is of great injustice. This story doesn't have to be this kind of act, just so everyone knows. But this is the story of carrying shame. Shame and learned, I'm going to say, because that's what I'm feeling here. Shame and learned behavior that is, I want to say self-sabotaging. And I do mean that, but in Medusa's case, it's hard to call it self-sabotaging because it was always the heroes that wanted to still conquer her. While she remained in her home, the heroes came and they tried to conquer her and turned into statues in her home with weapons in their hands, heading over there for her head. And yet, she's to be blamed. to me, this is a shadow work story. It can be so much more. It can also be this collective. I don't know which side you're on. I'm going to be honest here. And perhaps it's both sides, but when I drew this, I just saw it as, let's get down to business and defeat the Huns. No, let's get down to business and, create some good routines. I don't know, all of those sort of things. The masculine energy sort of kind of like power mode or warrior mode. And then also logic and whatnot with the extremely beautiful owl. And then Medusa came out and it changed everything. But it could be still tied together. It's just that when Medusa came out and I had, because I didn't remember it was Athena's temple Medusa was connected with. But when I realized that, I also realized that this can actually be a story about the collective, because this is, again, what made me realize, okay, this is a collective reading. But the collective might actually be carrying shame. And that shame you are carrying on behalf. This isn't shame or guilt or anything that you should actually factually be carrying. Even if it is kind of like a loop that you get stuck in, a karmic loop sort of, or if it is what I usually call self-sabotaging behavior, but like less than ideal ways of acting and behaving in whatever circumstances it is that triggers you. And that trigger will be then connected to, and also the shame that you're carrying, is then connected to the fact that whomever it was that should have protected you didn't. And there might be many reasons for why, but they didn't. And now you at least feel, this collective, that you are carrying the entire weight of everything on your own. And what you're carrying is making sure that close relationships for you are not easy. Because whatever shame or patterns or whatever you are now carrying, it is involuntarily from your side, but it might still be automatically, like kind of like your autopilot, because it's your, again with shadow work, right? It becomes your armor from a very young age. And when you're triggered, when you're in a certain situation, like with this then, something that would remind you ish of this original situation, you take that on, and the actions or reactions or whatever doesn't really help you now as an adult, although they did to a certain degree as a child. It's really gorgeous. God, I think, at least. But yeah, you might also be on the other hand, or like the other side, where perhaps you're now realizing the thing with Athena is, to my knowledge, this isn't actually that much in character for Athena. I would have understood it way more if it had been, for example, oh, what is she called? The wife of Zeus. Is it Hera? Hera, I think. If it was Hera, or if it was even Aphrodite, I think it's Hera, I mean, but I'm unsure. But because those two can act out, basically. Like, they are very, in their actions, they almost random. And also, like, a bit irrational at times, I feel. And they have a tendency of not necessarily, in my opinion, of the stories that I've heard, they have a tendency of not necessarily, I'm thinking maybe perhaps especially on, I already forgot her name, Hera, punishing the women that Zeus engaged with and not her husband, because she couldn't, you know. But still, Athena usually stands up for the weak. And she's also the protector of women when they end up in these sort of situations. As I can recall it, at least. I mean, if I'm wrong, or if I'm right, like, whatever, but if you have insights, I'd love for you to share it. I absolutely adore history and mythology, just saying. But this is out of character for her, in my knowledge. And so because of that, it's actually a part of this reading. Because again, this is my impulses as of now. Which means, firstly, Medusa couldn't expect this. She didn't expect this. This would have been felt like a massive betrayal. Like, to such a huge extent. But let's say that this collective, that a part of this collective actually falls into Athena. What you then did here, that was out of character for you. Or at least it feels like it was out of character for you. Or perhaps now that you either do not see the world as black and white as you might have when you turn someone an outcast, potentially. Now that you see a more nuanced picture, you might feel, oh, well, that was out of character for me. Had I known, I wouldn't have. Had I known, I would have actually protected this individual. And that could be a thing. But it doesn't really matter, you see. And you might also have moved from this to this. There's really a lot here. I didn't plan for this one whatsoever. But it's not important either, because now we've gone through, this is the most important. This is simply tying you, the guys, the right collector, which might be a lot. This is simply tying you guys to this reading, okay? So one way or another, this story resonates with you, if you're in the right collective here. And what comes next now? Again, there is romance cards here, but this does not have to be with romance. What I'm feeling is that, yes, it might be romance, but it might just as likely be something that you're passionate about. So that can also be a project, a passion project. Your work, if you're very passionate about that. But it might also, or it could also be friendship, but it might also be romance. It's just something that you're very passionate about in this one. And what came after this was this one and this one. So first, and these comes afterwards. These I have not read up on yet, so I'm going to have to do that with you guys. And then I'll explain, these tiny little stars that I've placed out here. Or actually I drew from like my little bag of stars. Stars and magic. Oh, we're not done with her quite yet. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll just finish this one up, and then I'll read those cards for you. I mean, if it happens in this way, then there's a reason for it. So, I'm sorry, my throat again. Let's see here. This story highlights injustice, the nature of truth. And in this version, Medusa is an innocent. In other versions, not so much. After all that happened to her, she had a right to justice and certainly a right to defend herself. She was the victim here. She wasn't asking for attention or to be violated. Yet she became hunted by heroes because she would turn others to stone. In our modern society, we have huge problems with what justice is and who it is available to. Happily, the story of Medusa is being seen with new eyes, and her mythos is being re-examined. Perhaps the most obvious example of this is from sculptor Luciano Garbati, who created Medusa with the head of Perseus. The sculpture has been installed in the park facing the New York County Criminal Court, where Harvey Weinstein, I can't actually pronounce his name, whatever, Harvey something, stood trial. The court handles many women's justice issues, including intimate violation cases. I'm actually a bit annoyed that I'm unsure whether or not I can say that word. Anyways, so plant companion, I'm feeling annoyed with this. Like, I'm really annoyed right now. Plant companion, which is a bit weird. So this is probably tied to the collective. Plant companion, oh wait, I'm part of the collective. Yeah, okay. Anywho, yarrow, it's yarrow. Crystal companion, green, snakeskin jasper, or petrified wood. So, moving these away. And now we have this. And before I say anything now with this, remember, this is a story of great injustice, okay? No matter how it is, this is a story of great injustice. But what I am sensing here is that this, of course, has happened, which is why this is the story of this collective. But now, justice will be achieved. But it will not come easy. Because no matter which side you feel you're on, or if this is just your journey in general, this is going to be extremely hard for both parties. Like, if you exist on either of these sides, or however you resonate with this story. Because here we have an outcast, shunned by everyone because everyone turns to stone, and if it is to shame, then that has to be worked through. Shadow work, you know? And shadow work is hard. If it is gaining, well, I want to say the justice that you seek, but justice is so many things, then that is going to be hard if you're living like Medusa, basically now. And your life is defined by that shame, not just for yourself, but for those around you. The way that they look at you, view you now. You're going to have to find the strength to know who you are, firstly and foremost. The strength to not externalize yourself. In a world that is forcing it upon you, in this case. And here we have then someone who did not I'm going to say straight out, this is someone who regrets. This is someone who regrets whatever happens there, or happened here, and wants to rectify it one way or another. And that's going to be hard as well, seeing the consequences. But also, it can be hard simply because doing so is something that feels very hard. Because this is, Athena has such high moral values that she's trying to uphold. It can be very hard for someone, and their ego specifically then, because this would be the ego and the way that you look at yourself, that would be challenged. And that is painful too. That's also shadow work. It would be extremely painful, or maybe even feel completely impossible for someone in this position to even know how to start here, because it doesn't feel like you can simply reach out and talk necessarily. It doesn't matter which side you're on with this one, it's going to be hard. What's supposed to happen next? It's going to be hard. Whatever you're working towards, or wishing for. You're going to have to take actual action here, though. Both, no matter which side you're on, or both, or whatever. You're going to have to, I'm going to explain why, but you will have to take actual actions to alchemize this, or just turn it into something positive, turn it around, basically. So, hold your vision, 1551. And again, I've underlined it. It's going to be hard. You're going to really have to hold your vision, because this is a harder journey, or painful one. Manifestation, abundance, money, dreams, vision, and prosperity. Focus on the good and maintain your concentration on the outcome you desire. It's time to put your faith and time into your ideas and pursue your goals with all your might. Again, because it's not going to be easy for you yourself. You have such a beautiful, courageous, and brave spirit, no matter which side you're on. This holds true, okay? But if you can hold this vision, even during those painful moments, because there are going to be plenty, there will be, you will succeed. You will. It's here, but it also says so in that card. But here you got 1111. Isn't that also twin flame? So, okay, so for those who resonate with this in love, and also here, this might then be like a twin flame journey thing. And those are hard. So because there's lots of shadow work with that. To reach internal union, shadow work. Doesn't matter if you're in the feminine or masculine energy. You will have to do shadow work. The oracle deck that I am creating, it has shadow work in it, and we're kind of sending the masculine energy, and in these cards that would be this one, I suspect. No, it could also be a wounded feminine up in her ivory tower, actually. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Anywho, so what was I saying? Oh no, my ADHD, I wanted to say kicked in, but it was always there. Anywho, yeah, shadow work, the deck, yeah, so we send the masculine on that shadow journey, but the feminine energy, not gender, but the feminine energy also has to do it, because that's how you reach internal union. There's also other stuff, but definitely shadow work. So, wish come true, if you can hold your vision and stand the pain. So, moderation, patience, flowing, self-realization. Again, manifestation, twice. Gateway, taking action. And here we also have it, pursue your goals with all your might. You have, oh yeah, that's true. But okay, you have such beautiful, courageous, and brave spirit. So, let's see here. You are in for a lucky break. It may come as happy news, experience new opportunities, or an exciting acquaintance. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. It is not a coincidence, but a gift from fate. But you will only get that if you can do this, if you can hold your vision through the pain and through the hurt, and if you can take decisive actions. That's the absolutely only way you get this. That's also how we manifest in general. You can't just sit and think and hope and pray. That's just part of getting you into the right vibration. Actually, that's gratefulness, but still. Love and all of that, but still. You have to take action. You have to actually be prepared, or preparing yourself kind of, to receive. You have to be in the right locations. You have to have done the work. Like, you have to be... now that ska song is coming to my mind. Be prepared. Kind of, you know? So, what came after that was then actually these. These came afterwards. And I have not read up on them quite yet in the book, so we're going to be doing that together. But this card I have assigned in the Damon Oracle deck. I have assigned, I don't remember what her count, or his, it's actually 2 men. But I don't remember what the counterpart to Gamori is. I think it's Paiden or something like that. This is a twin flame card for me, because they come in a pair and they look quite alike, and they are so in nature quite opposites, I'm going to say. And Gamori, she's more demure, whatever, nothing. Like, she's not extravagant or anything like that. She has some flair and whatnot. She does. Like, look at this. But her counterpart, or his counterpart, is sending like an entire orchestra or something to announce him coming in. Like, guys, enjoy the concert. And he's also kind of slow and stuff like that. While she's more like, I'm going to say, it's still gorgeous and whatnot, but it's more like classic style, grace. Let's keep it minimalistic, but still oh so gorgeous, kind of. That's Gamori's style, you know? Understated, but gorgeous, kind of. Malphas, I don't remember, but because of his like spatula thing here, like the it's one of those that you use when you're laying bricks, you know, building like a fence or something, or a wall, and then you're laying bricks on top of bricks, and then that, whatever that is, the glue thing that sticks them together, you use this thing to kind of put it on and then even it out. And so because of that, the image always reminds me of the Freemasons. I don't know a lot about them, but that might be something that's of not necessarily importance, but it might resonate, like, or a symbol or anything with someone in the collective. So it's more of a confirmation. Now, just give me 1 sec, because the book fell down to the floor. Give me a sec. Okay, now I have it. So we're going to start with Malphas. And it is connected to Athena's energy. The same goes for Rendezvous. And then this one is connected here, right? But we're not there yet, though. So let's start with Malphas. Malphas. Here we have Malphas. Let's see. Annotation. Malphas is one of Weird Damon's, Weir's daemons, listed as a president of hell with 40 military units under his command. One of his forms is that of a raven, and even when he manifests in human form, he is unable to hide his harsh, loud voice. Malfa's speciality is that of architecture and engineering. Not only can he assist those who summon him with building towers and walls that cannot be climbed over or broken down, but also he can point out the structural weaknesses in other structures so that they may be broken down. Okay, firstly, I just said wounded feminine in her ivory tower. And I'm, of course, getting the Tower card from Tarot popping up here. So this is connected to the energy of what is actually going on here right now. But this makes me feel it's leaning towards. It doesn't have to be romance, okay? It could also be friendship or whatnot. But it could also be whatever, truthfully. I don't want to call this a love reading, because I don't think it is. I think it could be, but I don't think it is. This reading is supposed to be open and vague, kind of. Like, not vague in what I'm saying, but this reading is supposed to be less of my usual. The story has to fit for this to be your story. Or it's actually the exact same thing, but the story then has to be quite loose. The point is, I think this is a reading that's supposed to be very open, very, of course, timeless. All of my readings are. But to resonate with those that it resonates with. But please do make sure that you resonate with the core of the story first, okay? That's important. So anyways, attached to the Athena energy then is an energy of someone who is or have been stuck in their ivory tower, so wounded feminine, untouchable, and also the wife of Proctor in The Crucible. She was rather black and white, and I'm not talking down on his, like she was disrespected, okay? But he called her, I don't remember, but he said something about her being so righteous, but not in a positive way, like more like you cannot see nuances, sort of. And so you just put yourself up in the ivory tower, you do what you feel is necessary, black and white, and then the consequences are what the consequences kind of are. You are justice. Consciously or subconsciously, you decide. Like, that's this energy, right? If you're up in the ivory tower specifically. But then something has happened. Your ivory tower, or the ivory tower of the wounded feminine, has crumbled. And that's why it's now possible for this wounded feminine energy, and a wounded feminine energy might still be connected to a masculine, okay? That's important. And again, nothing has to do with actual, physical sort of kind of gender. It isn't gender, it's just energy. And that's my point. But now that this tower that she has placed herself in, I know I used her, but you know what I mean. The tower that this feminine energy has placed themselves in has crumbled because they have realized something. They have realized a flaw with the case that they have run, or with the way that they have acted, or with their morals or values, or like there is something, and it's quite fundamental. It's very fundamental, and it has crashed. And the issue is that tower was kind of what was, I'm not going to say protecting this energy from not facing, but kind of feeling like it was okay to step away from this. But now they're down on the ground level again, kind of. And they are seeing the perspective of this other energy. And now they'll have to start rebuilding that tower. Not because like they're going to go up in the ivory. I mean, you could do that. Like if this is you, but it doesn't really matter. If this is you or this is you, they could of course build their own new tower and put themselves up there. That's possible. But you have a choice now. You have a choice. And I said in the beginning, you want to reconcile this. This energy wants to reconcile. You have to hold on to your vision if you want wishes to come true. And this is growth. Because I also mentioned shadow work. If you build yourself up in a new faulty tower simply to protect your ego, or for other reasons, but if you do not hold on to your vision, you will face another stagnation here. Yes, you might remain in your tower or energy or whatever it is that you have right now, but you might also grow on other areas, but specifically this thing here, you will stagnate. And chances are, not even chances, unless the loops we don't actually face, the karmic loops as I call them, that we don't actually face, the shadow work we do not do, that keeps repeating in our life, and it gets more extreme with every single time that it repeats. It gets more and more extreme. And that makes sense because we are pushing the boundaries. Has it been pushed slightly? Well, then you kind of have to keep on pushing it then. Keep your vision. This collective, please. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I feel like this is very important. If anyone resonates with this one, I strongly feel you should do this. But I can only advise, okay? But I have an intense feeling right now in my chest area and also in my throat. And this is not this is the energy I'm feeling here from the right collective, from those who feel like this resonates. I feel I can feel that this is so uncomfortable, and yet I can feel how important this is. Be brave. Here, you know, you have such a beautiful and courageous and brave spirit. Remember that. You're Athena. Athena doesn't back down. Let's continue with this one though. Inspiration. Colin de Plancy also mentions Malfa's gifts at finding capable workers and good familiars for those who summon him. Familiars are perhaps less useful in our everyday lives, but a strongly structured company requires a foundation of good workers. So we see that Malfa's skills at building are not only with wood and stone, but also with people. Yeah, so Malfa's is also about building up again then relations, or just communication. And it might be someone, because specifically it's saying workers and it is resonating in my ear now. The person, and that makes sense because again, someone that you feel you should have been protecting or something. It's in that realm. We remember this from the beginning. This person might then be in some sort of like hierarchy within like maybe an organization, maybe a company, wherever. But it might also just be between siblings, you know, or family or whatever, friends even. But there was some sort of hierarchy where this person, and that's what you feel. This is something that, I'm not saying like this is what you feel and think every day, but this thought or feeling has popped up for you. It has to resonate, okay? Otherwise, then this specific part at least does not, it's not for you. But that this energy, this person, was kind of below you in the hierarchy, not like in value or anything like that, but in the hierarchy. They were under you. It's just a detail, but it's mentioned for a reason. So divination. Focus on physical or metaphorical structure, creating strong foundations or finding weaknesses in seemingly indestructible barriers. Yes, but that is the action that you need to focus on to get over here. Okay? All of the other things that we said, that connects to the energy that you're in and the energy that sort of led you there. And then we have Gomori attached to Medusa. Let's see here. Gomori. It's not so long. Gomori is short and sweet because again, like she's more like simplistic, you know? So Gomori. No, I say she, but it is a he. Gomori is a duke of hell in command of 26 legions of daemons, according to the Wires Pseudomonarchia Daemonium or something. His appearance could mean that he is the twin to Paimon. Yes, so twin flame connection is what I see with these two. He appears in a feminine aspect astride a camel. Even the illustration of the two daemons in dictionary are similar. So, inspiration. While Paimon is an ostentatious and flashy daemon, Gomori is more soft-spoken and demure. His gifts for telling the past, present, and future are comparable to many other daemons, but Gomori specializes in finding beautiful things, be they physical treasures or new love divination. Focus on finding and gaining new love or inspiration. This is about, I'm saying moving on. But I mean from the status, from whatever it is that everyone else is telling you. Wait, I just need to put it down. From what everyone else has put onto you. You're moving on now. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Just need to drink a little bit. You're supposed to be moving on and finding love, passion, beauty, and everything that can make up a life that you will have loved living. Your story. And it does make sense that this could be connected to a twin flame reading in some sort of sense. Because in twin flame connections, I'm sorry, my throat is again. But in twin flame connections, it's not about the external union. It's about internal union. And you're doing that internal union, which means shadow work, healing in any way, really, that will help you. Proper healing, not shaming. That's important. That will help you gain the life that you so want. And I can say that with 100% certainty because we all want it. That's our motivation. Doesn't matter if you're a person who pushes love away when you're offered it, or if you're a person who doesn't trust your own desires, so you don't follow them. You don't see them as guides, sort of, pointing you towards, one, what you lack in your life, but would really want, and two, as, well, guides towards what you want in your life. That's one thing, but it's the story that you want to live. It's what you want to have experienced before you cannot experience anything anymore. Oh no, the lamp went. Can you still see-ish? Yeah, that's okay. We'll keep it as this. Anyways, so yeah, it's going to be hard for me to put them up there then. It is what it is. Anyways, the point is, that's also going to be hard because you have gotten so much pushed onto you. Your life has completely changed because of this, or the traction, whatever, like the course of your life has changed because of this. And it doesn't matter if this is something connected again to like, to like twin flame energy, or if it's, for example, a parental figure, or a sibling, or a friend, or like a co-worker. It really doesn't matter. As I said, this one is so broad, and there's lots of people that will fall into this. And that's probably because the message is quite important, for example, with this one, but also this one. You can move on from this, and it's going to be hard. You're going to have to do so much shadow work. You're going to have to find your innermost strength and courage and braveness, and it will be worth it. It will be worth it. And I'm talking to this card. I genuinely feel like I'm talking to you and feeling like I should guide you towards walking this way and not focus back here. And perhaps that is because when you carry shame, you have a constant focus on the past. Every time that it doesn't matter if you have an actual visual memory going on for you, or if it is mostly an emotional memory, and so you can feel it in your body by like tensing up and all that. That's the most ordinary version, I think, at least, because that's when we're acting from autopilot in certain situations that trigger us, I mean. But you need to, when you do the shadow work, your focus needs to be towards the future. It needs to be towards this. Because if you keep on looking back, you will be focusing on what you don't want. And it really doesn't matter what we focus on. We get what we focus on. And if it is something that you do not want, that you keep on focusing on, that's exactly what you get. It's like biking. I use this example far too many times, or far too often, but it's like biking. It doesn't matter which way you want it to go. If you look in a certain direction, that's where you're going to be biking most of the time. No, your bike will be shifted towards that direction. It doesn't matter. So for you to get something different, and you do want that, and you do deserve it, even if this is self-sabotaging behavior that's kind of stuck here, and that's kind of, again, because this has to do with relationship, like community and stuff like that. You deserve all of it. You are deserving, you are lovable. You are not ashamed that you have been made to carry. You can put it down. You can go inside yourself and talk to the aspects and parts of yourself that you either consciously or unconsciously think of as, feel is shameful. And that can be certain situations, that can be certain actions, that can be certain loops, it can be anything. But go inside of yourself and start simply communicating with that side in a loving way. This is not, as with typical shadow work, where you, or at least how I usually talk about it and do it myself, but where you go in and you're like, oh, I know that you did all of this. Well, it can be. I know that we are acting like we are because this is an armor that you've put up to protect us. And that's marvelous. That's great. And my throat is clogging up again. Wait, give me 1 sec. But I thank you for it. I thank you for all of this. And we don't need it anymore. I shall protect you. That's more of the typical version that I kind of the quest for your inner children that I'd send you on. But this one is, if it is anything close to Medusa's story, anything, and this can be any form of, well, abuse, any form from anyone. You go in there and you're just your own witness. That does not mean you go in there and you ruminate. No, that means that you go in there and you sit. You sit with that version of yourself in the aftermath, yeah, that's how it's pronounced, in the aftermath of what happened. And if we are talking about several episodes, perhaps you should revisit. Not at all. I would never do that. I would never send anyone, not on your own. Then you should be completely clear on being able to get yourself out of that memory. But if you are not, you have to be certain. And if you are not certain, do not do that. Do not go into that painful memory. I'm not saying that because you should avoid your triggers or whatnot, but it won't. In my knowledge, it won't help you. It might help specific individuals, and if you know how to do this safely, marvelous. I'm not here to stop you. This is just advice. But my advice, enter afterwards. No matter what that kind of abuse was, enter afterwards. And just sit with yourself. Hug yourself, cry with yourself. Make them truly see and feel. There is no shame to be carried. Dissolve it. Walk away. Dissolve it. That means you're not going to sit there to point fingers. That's not what you needed. What you needed was a witness that saw you, that protected you, that could make you feel safe. That could make you understand and see you did what you could. Whatever that was, however that looked, no matter the end result, you did what you could. And there is no shame to be carried. You're still whole. You're still lovable. You're still love. You are still love. There is no shame to be carried, so put it down. Walk away, hug it out. I don't care. And you sit there for as long as that version of you needs to calm down and feel slightly better. And you do this until you feel slightly better. Okay, I needed to get that out. I felt intense, but important. And I'm going to add this too because I feel very called to do so. This energy. You might also have gone through something like this, and if you're both, then of course, but you might also have gone through something. We are all humans. We do go through things. In general, in life, we go through things. Stuff happen, and it's not all roses. Sometimes we just get the thorns, and the petals fell off. Doesn't mean that we can't find new beautiful things, as Gamori would have, which is what you guys will. That's your focus now. Heal. To live. The life that you do deserve to live. And that you do so desire. But you might also benefit. If you only resonate with this energy, you might still benefit from doing that kind of shadow work, or the other one that I was talking about. There's a reason why you need to protect your ego so. There's a reason why you need to see the world in black and white. There is a reason for this, and that is a kind of armor. And you can 100% do shadow work and figure out what you are protecting yourself against. And once you understand that, the function of your armor, that makes it a lot easier to not feel that need. Because the thing is, every time we put on our armor, and it doesn't matter what the setting or the trigger or whatever it is, it's because we feel unsafe. There is no other reason to put on your armor. You feel unsafe. So when you can stop putting that on because you did the shadow work, it's because you yourself feel so extremely safe. I'm going to use a ridiculous analogy, but here we go, because it came to my mind. So, okay. So, this is like, this will resonate with those who play games, okay? And this is specifically, I'm thinking about Breath of the Wild. So the Zelda game, right? Nintendo. But it doesn't have to be that. But I've played it. So, as you level up... No, wait. That's not a good game to reference. Why would I reference that for this? It's your armor and stuff that you actually level up with that, isn't it? Am I completely wrong now? Doesn't matter. Breath of the Wild, that's a keyword thing for someone. You're welcome. But it doesn't matter. The point is, once you level up your character, right? And you meet other, like, I'm very sorry, Medusa, but you were the closest one. Now you meet, like, bosses and stuff, right? Well, because you yourself have leveled up so much. You could technically undone all of your armor and then just punch the boss. And the boss is like, wow, you're so extremely strong. Ah, impressed. And then you're just like, yeah, leveled up, my dude. And you just walk off, into the sunset, your own little sunset. And that's what happens when you do the shadow work, when you integrate your shadows, and you don't have that need to protect the ego, the mask, the whatever, the presentation. But we're back here, and now I can feel my energy is weird again. This one was also like, but that was in the chest, and this one is heavy because of what some of the collectives have been going through here. I can even feel it, like I'm stuttering at times with this one. And I might have been doing it with that one too, but I can feel it here. I can sense it. It's something that I'm actually noticing. So that's the thing. But that's also the thing that Medusa said. If at any point you should feel comfortable enough to do so, talk. Tell people your story. In whatever way it even makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you. It might not. But your focus is on you and your healing. Okay? Okay. We're moving on now from these. It's very heavy. The point is, for this collective who resonates in Medusa, no matter what it is that puts you here, move forward, look forward. Okay? We can also see that, like, you're ahead, looking straight at us, but moving ahead. And with Malphas, he's also looking, behind, which makes sense because, like, again, you realize something that had happened that caused them. We've been through this. I'm not going to go through it again. So, after this, I first got this card, which is connected to Athena's energy, and then I got this card connected to Medusa's energy, and then this was connected, or actually it was connecting these two. So Athena and Medusa connected together. When I pulled them, I felt like this is future energy. But now that I'm sitting here, but that also means, yes, this could be future energy or desired energy to emerge from this connection, right? But now that I'm sitting here, I'm also feeling, again, this is a very broad collective. I am also feeling that this is connected to how you guys, if you're two people, saw each other. And it doesn't have to be like an actual best friend, and it doesn't have to be an actual rendezvous. But it's more, a rendezvous is superficial, and a best friend, that's deep energy. And if it is a love reading, then by all means, this could definitely resonate with the right collectives. But in a much more broad sense, the Medusa energy towards the Athena energy felt a much deeper connection. And here it says best friend. Friendship is vital to your romance. Feelings deepen and blossom. It's a deep connection. One way or another. You had a strong attachment to this person. And we did talk about like structural things. So it could be that, for example, if it was your boss, then perhaps it was also a boss that you looked up to. Because again, as we talked about in the beginning, this felt like a real betrayal. Because this should have been someone that protected you. but it could also still be, but I've already gone through that. It's still valid that it could be parental figure or friends or whatever. Rendezvous, for those that connect with this energy, this was more superficial. And I'm sitting here and I'm feeling into the whole, okay, but we also just mentioned this could be parental figure. And it could still be relatively superficial for different reasons. Could also be that the act didn't feel like it should hit so deep because it was black and white in this energy's way of looking at it. And so you did something and so something happened, of course, kind of. But it might also be feeling, if it is like a parental situation here, this is how you, this right collective, feels like this parental figure was feeling, or how you are viewed and loved. It's quite superficial, so you might have never felt seen, and that might have been the thing as well. If you never felt growing up safe, peaceful, emotional intimacy, then you will not know how to receive it either. And this is coming to mind for a reason. And again, with the superficial, that can happen. And that can happen for many reasons. Many reasons. But if that's the case, you're not going to like what I'm going to say. Because what I'm going to say is open your heart. And here it says, love is the highest energy of all. Let it in. But what I am not saying is... Oh, wait. I got something else that I felt I should say, actually. It's connected, though, so it doesn't really matter. This is more important what I'm going to say here. Open your heart. Go straight back to Gomori, okay? It does not mean necessarily if that is unhealthy for you. Doesn't mean open your heart to this, because you have specifically been told you're moving away from that. You're healing and you're moving away. I'm trying to make it move, but it doesn't have that far to go either before it crashes. That's not you though. That's just this box, okay? And anyways, we talked about that as well. You have to be courageous and brave, and you're going to have it's not going to be easy. So you can traverse a little plastic mountain. Of course you can. Look, you have a camel. Going to be doing great, wonderful, out on adventure. But shadow work. And if that is not the case, and there is this even slight, and I'm talking even the slightest inclination towards not feeling, or no, that would be towards feeling this is not 100%. I wanted to say over, so I'm probably talking about the love, potential love collector right now. But it goes so much broader, because I was thinking about parents and parental stuff right now. But still, the stuff that I say come out when they come out for a very good reason. So listen to it, But if that's the case, then you are going to have to do your very best to open your heart. You have to. If you're moving away, you open your heart to love still. And you do that by healing. And in time, quite naturally, you will end up with a feeling, a truthful feeling of what is. No, it is what it is. What has happened have happened. It's just an objective truth. You're no longer stuck in the, this is how it should have been. This is what would have been healthy. This is how I wish I had grown up. This is how I wish this relationship or whatever actually went down. This is how I wish that my actions had been playing out, or whatever. All of that. Like, there's so much wishing and focus backwards, right? That closes off your heart, truthfully. And that's part of putting you in a shame spiral over what you are and not what you've done. It's not the action, it's the person with shame. With guilt, it's the action. Not so with shame, I'm just saying. You need to try. No, you don't have to. When you're working on healing yourself, you're working on that. Like, stuff is what stuff is. What has happened, have happened. And then, as a result of that, at some point, very naturally, forgiveness will happen. I don't think you can force forgiveness. I think you can try and fake it. I think you can try and convince both yourself and everyone else, including whoever it is that hurt you, that yes, indeed, you have now been forgiven. But in most cases, it's an echo of the things that we had to do as children, which was, go and say sorry. As a child, if you did something towards a different child or whatever, like, you had to go and say sorry, right? And then you go and you're like, I'm so sorry. Oh, I wish I didn't have. No, I wish I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have kicked you, I suppose. Like, that's the sorry you get, sort of. And then the other child is getting told, well, say that it's okay. Like, they said sorry, so, kiss and make up. And then that other child, like, first child didn't see why they were supposed to say sorry, so they indoctrinate that the why isn't so important. You don't figure out why you say sorry, you just say sorry. And what happens then is that calm and peace comes into your life again. It is all restored. It is back to normal. But with this child then, right? The child that has been kicked or stolen a toy or like whatever. This child is told that, okay, they said sorry. I am supposed to just feel forgiveness now. So whatever it is that they're feeling in that moment, which I can assure you is not forgiveness, because they haven't actually had time to work through anything. They haven't done any work. It was words, not actions. It was empty words received and empty words thrown out. But they're both convinced, of course, that they are doing the whole, like, being sorry, seeking redemption, and there's no seeking of redemption even, but still, like, and forgiving, and now we can move on. But it lingers. It lingers. You didn't actually process it. You didn't have that option. It was not presented to you in that, like, childlike situation. You're just supposed to move on now. But this, for the child, like, this has been a big transgression. Transgression is not the word, it doesn't matter. And as an adult, then, or like as a child, you integrate, of course, as I said, the whole like it's just empty words. You just say it. There's no process to it. Forgiveness is just, okay, now we move on. And it does then have a lot more to do with this person than it did do. It wasn't even connected to you. And so we end up with a very unproductive view of what being actually sorry is, and saying sorry, and also what forgiveness is. And simply just throwing out the words. We believe it in the moment, at least sometimes. But no, forgiveness will come naturally. And it will come naturally as you open your heart and as you heal, as you face your shadows for yourself. And then you can open your heart. In the process of healing yourself, you slowly open your heart. In the process of shadow work, you slowly open your heart. And as we do that, as we open our hearts, as we find new love, we move on. We experience more people and things and stuff and whatnot. Our true compassion has a chance to wake up. Because we have compassion for ourselves, which lets us have compassion towards other people. Now, that does not mean whatever has happened now means that it is null and void if you end up with compassion towards the person. Of course it doesn't. But what it does mean is that you don't have to carry along all of these shadowy snakes and whatnot that's been holding you down. It's the negative feelings there that you can put down on the ground and simply walk away from. Because it's only weighing down you. Although you didn't place these shadows here, you're still the one who has to carry it. And that's what it means that we forgive for ourselves. So that we can pluck away one and one snake here. You know, one and one shadow. And in the end, you get to be a cool little Gomorrah and ride up to your own little motherfucking sunset. Ugh, I was doing so well. This was the first time I swore, I think, in this one. Ugh. Anywho. A rendezvous, open your heart. No, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, this is for forgiveness. And it goes for both of you guys. And you both have to forgive yourself as well, if there's two energies there. And okay, no, I'm going to say it like this instead. No matter how you relate to this story, no matter how you relate to it, no matter which side you're on this story, I just place these here. These are important now. This is what your end result will be. So first, these I've made myself, so I'm not sure you can even probably see them. You know what, I'm going to put them here. This is a tiny little star with a man and a woman. And if it is a love reading, then I, of course, view it as sort of like a union star. Like it's saying coming together, but it's still coming together. So that's where we start, you know. And then this is about being creative. It's about creativity. It can quite literally mean, of course, like creative endeavors, like music, painting, drama, whatever it is. Like it can quite literally mean that. And then this can also be community, because if you're now deciding to move away because you healed so much, you're going to gain new community. Okay? And if it is these two, If it is internal union, it will be achieved by doing all of the work, right? If it is two people, love, family, doesn't matter. You will get together. You will be very creative. Well, this one might find community in the creative world, which would be glorious. Can I even make this slightly viewable for you guys? No, it doesn't matter. And, okay, I'm putting it here because I think you'll see it slightly better. This is like abundance. This is a tiny little money bag actually, but it's just about the material realm. So a physical manifestation of abundance will come as a result of this, of like being creative together, you know? You will succeed. I know it says here as well, wish come true. This is simply confirming it. Wish comes true. Wait, I need to drink just a tiny bit. But it could also mean union, like with love, brings with it creative energy. That brings with it actual physical abundance. And then we had this one, which is man. It stands for man, or masculine energy. But it also stands for anything that we would kind of address as masculine energy, which could be like, oh, can you see it if I put it here at least? Yeah, there you have it. Symbol of man. Can also be all of the values and actions, and like anything that we would call masculine, anything that we would feel is attached to masculine energy. It can also talk about that, you know? So actions, taking action, I mean. Physical manifestation. That can quite often also be, I'm thinking about the Magician card. That can quite often also be a masculine energy. So it's still about like grounding something. But it can also have to do with very on the nose, kind of like a masculine energy. But this is about a future prediction though. But it doesn't have to go like that. It can also simply be like the masculine energy might have to be the most prevalent energy, or will end up being, like, it could be logic. You know what? I'm going to have to do, I feel like I need to, where is it? Oh, there we have it. No. I want to draw a card on that one. Why do we have specifically masculine energy here? Which deck should I choose? That was much simpler when I did this thing. Should we just go for these, or like... I'm sorry. Been drinking lots. I think we're taking these. Actually. Yes, that feels correct. It has to do with action. This is action. Okay, so if it resonated, and however it resonated, stick with it. But future action, it feels like it was also actually prompting me, because I've been thinking this, but I was going to not do it because I was like, yeah, but it's been such a long video anyways now. Future actions, like to just draw a couple of cards and see what story we are getting here. But it's still future. It's connected to this, okay? Kind of like the abundance and the connection getting together and being creative. It could also be creative energy. Oh my god. Yeah, that was also resonating, but I was pushing it away. It could also be literally, if this is romantic, creative energy, abundance, that could be a male child. Like a pregnancy, actually. Yeah, it could. I mean, for those who want that, like, you don't manifest what you don't want, okay? We're focusing on what we want. So I just want some action cards. Okay. 3 of Wands. And then we have another one. Woo! Okay, I'm just gonna... I didn't actually jump out. Okay. 6 of Wands. Yeah, there's passion here. The Emperor. Okay. So, they're placed this way for a reason. That felt like the way I was going to be placing them. But that also means, again, this is connected to these energies, and this is connected to this. To these. And a continuation. All of it is, because I just said. Anywho, 3 of Wands connected to the Athena energy. No matter if that's feminine or masculine, or however it is that this resonates with you, like the story. The passion I have for you has opened my perspective to endless possibilities. And I must prepare to face the challenges. That's exactly what we've been talking about. Of course, that goes for both sides. But again, this might also be 2 sides of you. But, because you might have self-abandoned yourself. Like, you could have, maybe you should have been protecting yourself, you know? Anywho. So, and self-abandonment, that can also be in relationship. That happens a lot. Also friendships, also workplace situations, but like, self-abandonment. And leaving yourself in this shame pit instead. It's not good. And that could also be the case. So anywho, the passion I have for you has opened my perspective. Oh yeah, I just said that. 3 of Wands. Yeah. Again, Tower has fallen. You can see stuff now. And you're ready. You haven't yet taken the first step, but you're ready. You know you want to. You know you have to. And that passion thing, that's what I was feeling too. In my chest. But it was a scared one, or nervous, I don't know. It was uncomfortable, at least. And also in my throat, I could feel it in my throat. Yes, I know I have like a cold, but still, it was different. And then here, every time we get past, put it up here so you can see it. Every time we get past our arguments and get on the same page, I feel on top of the world and I succeed in all I do. 6 of Wands. The card of victory. No matter what interpretation speaks to you, if it is walking away, never looking back, if it is just opening your heart to yourself and your future, you will gain so much from doing that. You too, of course, but for you, like for the Athena energy, it's starting a whole new adventure, because you get to see and look at the world in a completely different way than what you have before. It's no longer so black and white if you decide to build up your tower. Like, not tower to keep yourself locked up in. It's not a Rapunzel tower or, an ivory tower. It's more like, a library of truths, sort of, that I am willing to discuss and look at from different angles whenever I should, because, I might be wrong. Books are not everything that's written in a book or on the internet or anywhere else is necessarily a timeless truth, kind of, like something that will never change. Not even anything that scientists necessarily come with is undisputable. That's why we have so many different theories, And things we think are completely correct and so scientifically proven today might not be so 100 years into the future, you know? That has happened before and that will happen again. But anyways, new exciting adventure. But it's the same here. You will gain the success that you want. You will gain the life that you so desire. You will. But if that does not, we talked about this, right? If that is not the option of you truthfully and completely 100% wanting to walk away, not looking back like you disappeared now. If that's not the case, then we're back to this. And then we're back to this. And that is how you gain the success. You need to get past the argument, no matter what it was, no matter how hard it was, no matter what it left you with or left you in. And no matter if that means that you want to reconcile. No matter if this is a family thing or a friend thing or again a romance thing or... It doesn't matter. It is the getting past this so that you get to remove one more of your shadowy snakes. You get to integrate them into yourself and you get to remove some shame or whatever else it is that you're carrying. But with this, in this reading, those shadowy snakes are shame, your shadow that we're talking about. And in some cases, you might not know. I'm getting called to say this. In some cases, you might actually not know what it is that you'd want. But it doesn't matter because you'll figure it out. If you can get past the argument. We don't act because we know exactly what we don't act when everything is ready and you kind of gained perfection when it comes to the route that you're going to take, the options that you will choose, the whatever. We gain certainty as we start walking. We don't start walking because we gain certainty. The only thing you start walking for is a goal. And that's what we've been talking about in this entire thing. No matter which side, no matter the story, there is a goal. There is an end point. There is a goal. You don't know how that goal would pawn out. You cannot know, and that is not the point either. Not for you, not for you, not for everything and everyone. You start walking when the goal is clear, and you get the goal quite clear. Clear-ish. We're not going for perfectionism. Perfectionism is also like a armor thing that needs to be taken off. But it can only be, taken off once you've worked through it. But no. When you have your goal, like the essence of your goal, ready in your mind's eye, or here, that face is easier, doesn't matter, in your mind's eye, but also here, that's when you start walking. And as you take every single uncertain step, you will gain more and more certainty as you keep on walking. And you will gain more and more conviction as you keep on walking. Not because now you can see the end goal that you hoped for. Because you need to keep that out of it. You need to keep yourself open for whatever outcome comes. Not so that you can brace. I mean, it might. It's because no matter what, particularly in this one, you're going to get your wish coming true, which means whatever it is that you end up with is exactly what you should be ending up with. It's for your best. No, your highest vibrational timeline. It's for your, well, no, best life. It's for your best life. And you don't necessarily know how that looks like. So be open instead. And then this one connects. It's the Emperor. In society, status is high priority to me, and I like having control over others. I follow strict rules and have high demands or expectations. This is directly connected to the issue. This is the issue. Yeah, this is the issue. And this issue can have come out in so many ways, in so many different relationship things. Like, again, I'm saying it so much during this reading, but again, parent, or like parental and children, romantic, friends, workplace, club. I don't, it can be so much. But this can also come out in so many different ways. But at the core, it's still a person putting themselves in an ivory tower. I am the blueprint, or I have learned the blueprint, or I know the answer, or everything is black and white. I follow strict rules and have high demands or expectations. So also perfectionism. And there is status. So for example, if it was, for example, your parents, and your parents had not yet worked through their shadows, where they were extremely, where they were people who were also externalizing their worth, and they hadn't worked through it, well then status is a high priority, and you will be a perfectionist, and that is a shadow that will sadly bleed down on you. Or perhaps it was extremely strict rules, or rules that were, even for you, experienced as quite random. But it doesn't really matter, because my point is the Emperor, the shadow side of an emperor, is a dictator. They have to have it their way. It is quite literally their way or the highway. And there can come abuse from that. I mean, in different formats. But it also confirms it from, like, if you are connected to this energy, then that is what was at the core of your issue here. And that is what has to be addressed if you resonate with this one. I am going to pull an animal card for both of these sides, because, oh, look at this, I just turned it over, and you got the nightingale spirit. That's my absolute favorite one, because it reminds me of the fairy tale with the emperor. Oh! Okay, that's a synchronicity for some reason. And also, well, but that would actually be, no, because the nightingale was just thrown away. Want something more glittery, more status, like, entered the emperor's life, because the nightingale is love and all of that, but the nightingale is very plain looking. Apparently, I've never actually seen one. Very plain looking, but its music can save the life of the emperor. It's the only thing that could save the life of the emperor. And so after the emperor has thrown the nightingale away, which isn't all that bad, because the emperor was literally like just keeping the nightingale in a golden cage, and the nightingale was very depressed. Like, it was not feeling good at all because it had no freedom, and it was just being used for its music as entertainment. But then the emperor got some new, more shiny entertainment, and so literally just forgot about the nightingale, and the nightingale escaped. But then the emperor got very sick, and nothing could cure him, not a single thing. And they tried to cheer him up with all of the golden trinkets that were shaped as the nightingale, and they were gilded, and they had other sparkly stuff on them. But of course, and they could sing as well. They sung perfectly, but they couldn't sing it as naturally as the nightingale. And so, as the emperor was literally lying there at death's door, quite literally, the nightingale came back. And it started singing. And that was the only thing that saved the emperor. The emperor, of course, asked the nightingale to stay, but the nightingale said, "I cannot live in your gilded cage. That's not possible. Where would I find my inspiration?" And so the nightingale and the emperor, they actually came to this, I wouldn't say much more healthy, because this isn't a love story at all. But you can, of course, put it into like a divine union kind of love story before they healed and stuff, kind of. Then the nightingale existed in a gilded cage, and there was toxicity. That's the point, right? But afterwards, the nightingale promises to come back and sing. They'll go out and they'll find the inspiration that they need, and they are their own person, sort of, but their own bird, the nightingale. And the emperor becomes its own emperor and doesn't have to hold on so tight, doesn't have to hold control over the nightingale. Instead, the emperor holds true, unconditional love for the nightingale and feels safe because of it. Because the nightingale always comes back and sings music to the emperor. And therefore, if it should have been like a divine union sort of thing, then they have both individualized themselves properly. But in other aspects and other ways of interpreting it, it could also be, simply speak. Both of you. Talk. Because talking is healing. Or not talking, communication. Talking is just words unless you're actually trying to communicate something. And words are empty if there are no thoughts and no intentions behind them, and no actions to back them up. But in this one, there is no communication, or nothing healthy. So, that's important for some reason. I will now just pull one animal card for both of these sides, for both of these energies, and see what you should be embodying or leaning on now, right now, to move you towards your most ideal outcome, which is the wish come true, right? And that is via addressing this, no matter how that ends up being the best way for you. So, One for the Athena energy. This one is so hard, even with my like amazing shuffle thing here. It's so hard to get this to shuffle right. Okay, try and give me one card, please. No more than one. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do it like this instead. I'm just going to shuffle a little bit, and if something drops out, cool. If not, I'm going to divide it actually. These are beautiful, but they are horrible at shuffling. Like, they are truly horrible. Okay, nothing fell out, so where is Athena's card? I'm not picking, but I am choosing this one. Skunk spirit, know your worth. Interesting. Okay, and then I want Medusa energy and collective. I want their animal card. Something for them to carry with them. This one. Okay, wait, I'm just trying to pull out one. Whew. Canary. Wow, that's a neat synchronicity. Oh my god, look at that. It's also a queen and a king. Yeah, there is something about like twin flame or divine union here, because yeah, I mean, like, this is a synchronicity, okay? Like, it's just like, my dudes, this is a synchronicity. Anywho, let's see here. So, I mean, it also indicates like this might be oh my god, there's a synchronicity in that too. This might be the nightingale. Like, you might have felt like the nightingale, or you might have felt this was like a nightingale spirit, because again, the synchronicity and connection. But this has like a king's crown on it. And I just said, which gives like an emperor feeling, but not properly. But still, this, or a hierophant, no, the emperor. This is the feminine energy. This is what I've signed to be the feminine energy in twin flame. Love. And this one is kind of completing it. So there's, for those of you guys who are on the twin flame journey, I mean, like, if you define it like that, I have my opinions when it comes to the twin flame journey, but they're all positive. They're all positive. It's just I don't want people to excuse actually toxic relationships with twin flame union, okay? That's what I'm saying and telling you guys. Like, the twin flame journey is about you and you alone, and you getting into internal union, healing with yourself. It's self-love. For both of the twin flames, if it's the twin flame journey, it's about your own self-love and your own self-healing. And then we have free will. Perhaps you will yourself together again. And perhaps you won't, but it doesn't matter, because you are healing. Twin flame journey is more about we were fated to meet, and we needed to separate to heal. But a union, if both chooses to heal, because both might not, but if both chooses to heal, then a union is by choice. No matter if you feel like, yeah, but it's fated, like it's fated or whatever. Well, unless both people feel that way, and both people are also properly healed, and both people properly desire it, then both also have free will. And even if one decides yes, then the other might decide nah. And that's okay. You've done the proper internal healing. You can stand that potential rejection. Even if it's scary, even if whatever, you can survive it. You're strong. But it can also be, so many other things. I don't remember why we're talking about the twin flame journey. It was probably important for someone. Okay, wait, I just need the booklet for... Oh, I'm sorry, for these ones. Okay, so let's just start now with the skunk spirit hat. Nightingale we don't need to read. I mean, already told you everything that's cool about it. Which is the story, of course. I'm such a storyteller. Anyway, I need to drink just a tiny bit. Give me a sec. Before I read, what I'm feeling is that you should know your worth. Yes, of course. But knowing your worth is also knowing that you're not above anyone. No matter your position or whatever. Wait. Give me one sec. Okay, wait. I'm going to have to pause this just a sec. Okay, I'm back, guys. But I can feel my throat is not going to survive much longer. I've been reading for 2 hours as well. This wasn't supposed to be a 2-hour read. But I am coughing so much right now. Wait. Okay. I'll try and get through this. Without having to pause too much. So, skunk spirit. Know your worth. What do you value? What do you believe in? Is your best, most authentic self on display? Skunk spirit comes as a reminder that you can be proud of who you are and what you have accomplished. Know your worth. Not everyone will agree with you or share your values, but you can walk with your head high, knowing that when you express your integrity... Wait, one sec. Okay, I am back again. I'm sorry. It's getting really bad now. Ugh. Okay, I just had to dry away some salty tears for my coughing, guys. Okay, let's see though. Yeah, but that was what I was actually thinking about. Like, you should know your worth, but you also need to... No, I said that actually. Yeah, you have to appreciate yourself, but also know to appreciate others. So it's kind of like you're not the blueprint necessarily. Black and white is... I'm being called to say this for a reason. The world is mostly grey. Black and white won't cut that. In fact, black and white doesn't even fit that. Black and white is easy. Grey is truthful. So, doesn't matter if it resonated with you guys, it resonated, okay? So, not everyone will agree with you or share your values. But you can walk with your head high, knowing that when you express your integrity, others can feel your authenticity and will be inspired by it. Be who you are. And if your reputation precedes you, good. You have much to be proud of, and Skunk Spirit wants you to be your best self, the true you. Okay, I feel also called to read the protection message, because I was just thinking this, but it's easier if I just read it right now instead of trying to, I don't know, use my own words. My throat is really not. Okay, let's see here. Protection message. Not everyone will appreciate you. Many people have issues of their own to address, and you may trigger something in them. But if so, no matter. Skunk Spirit calls you to be fully yourself without apology. Now is a time for honesty and admitting that something does not sit right for you. You deserve the self-respect that comes when you courageously choose to stand up for yourself and speak your truth in love. In love? Well, I'm going to say that that has a broader usage, okay? If it resonates and it's not about love for you, it resonates. Stick with that, okay? So, remember who you are and what really matters to you, and act with integrity. You will be so glad that you did. That's connected to the Athena energy. Now, Canary Spirit. Sing your own song. Yay! Let's see. Okay, Canary Spirit. It's kind of the same thing, though. Sing your own song. Yeah. And it's also about using your voice, actually, if you feel called to it. There's a mirroring going on here, then. This could definitely have to do with, like, I'm not even going to say have to, like, maybe, perhaps, like, this is also connected to a twin flame connection. I know we've, like, devised that already, but, like, there is no doubt in anyone's mind, or there shouldn't be in anyone's mind right now. Yeah, this is also about a twin flame love connection. This is directly mirroring. Okay. Canary Spirit, sing your own song. Canary Spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Free yourself to experience your inner light and let it shine, as the Canary Spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary Spirit's message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, again, love. It wasn't, but now, like... So, let's see, let's get back to it, yeah. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you are being called to fully be yourself. For only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. And then we have protective message. We will read this too. Are you suppressing your true voice? Perhaps trying to sing the song you think people want to hear instead of your own. You create a cage around your life when you express only what you think will help you fit in and get what you think you want. Are you hiding the real you? Telling a safe story about yourself to others because you are afraid they will think you are too different if they knew the truth. Canary Spirit comes to help you express yourself in a more honest and authentic way. Yes, not everyone will agree with you. In fact, not everyone will want to hear your originality or accept your uniqueness. You must not give this a single care. There will be plenty of people, opportunities, and wonderful new experiences that arrive as if by magic once you open your own cage door and fly free. Canary Spirit is cheering for you and wants you to know you are safe and loved. Find your voice and have courage to spread your wings and sing out loud. The world needs your true song. So, your true self is not your karmic loops. Your true self is not your shame. Your true self is also not your shadows, your armor, your anything. As I just said, these two are very much mirrored energies I can feel, which means even if you don't feel like, both of the sides fit you in your story, take what resonates from these two, okay? And also this one, of course, but this one is situated in between anyways. But I just need to drink a tiny bit, wait. But, okay, so, what was I talking about? Yeah, the Canary Spirit. Express yourself in any way that you feel safe in doing so. I'm specifically thinking about Medusa's advice, which was if you feel safe to do so, and if you can find a way that makes you feel well doing so, you can tell your story like that. But if it is about this, because this one is clearly to that, you know, again, authenticity. But if it is about this and addressing this, don't put on a mask. You might feel tempted to do that. Perhaps you're a people pleaser. Perhaps one of your shadows pops up, if this is parental, for example, or you know, like, well, really anyone. But what can happen is that you meet them as you always have, because that's what you've always done. It's kind of going straight into a sort of a autopilot. It's a mask that you usually wear, and you wear it for a reason. And you took it on to begin with for a reason. Take it off. Yes, that might not be to this person's liking, but it will be truthful. And then you will know. My throat is sorry. But then you will know what to do. Yeah, okay. Now specifically for those that resonated earlier when I was talking about, you don't necessarily know if you want to have this person in your life. If it's like you really want to walk away, sort of. Well, you will figure it out if you're authentic. You will figure it out on experiencing how you, as you are, when you remove the masks, when you remove the performance, when you, well, heal your shadows. When you meet them, this person, with authenticity, yes, but with quiet calmness. You don't meet them in your emotional state. You meet them simply as, this is my truth. This is who I am, this is my truth. And then you will know. However they react, you will know now. But it's also in general, because you're supposed to be healing yourself, finding even yourself, removing shadows, well, integrating shadows. Suddenly you won't have to hide so much behind all of those masks and all of the armor. There will be room and space to figure out not who you are in other people's eyes, or if you're following other people's advice, or other people's teachings even. It's all about externalization if you do it like that. You will figure out who you truly are. Once you start processing internally what you have sort of collected externally. What rings true to me? How did I really feel in whatever situation I've experienced? How am I really left feeling after engaging with someone, socially or whatever? How am I really feeling about my work situation? Like all of it. You figure that out by all of the external stuff that you've collected or experienced or whatever. And then you take it inside yourself, internalize it, and actually chew on it. Actually feel. This isn't intellectual. This isn't an intellectual thing. It's a feeling thing. It's your gut. Your intuition. That's externalizing it. It's existing below your neck as well. union, head and body. What was it called again? Someone called it something fancy, and I love that. It's like the circuit board, right? The brain, the circuit board. You achieve an internal union when you kind of connect the circuit board with the rest. Kind of like I can't I'm saying this really badly, really poorly, but still, like, you get what I'm saying. You have to truthfully listen to your body as well. Okay. I feel like this is it, kind of. There's not much more for me to add to this. If the story resonated with you guys, which it will, you know, with the right collective at least, but and that might be very broad, then hold your vision. Okay? You will get your wish. Okay. Okay, remember to like and subscribe and all of the other fun things, if you feel called to it, of course. Oh, and join the Discord, I would love that. There are links in the description, and love you guys.